All right, welcome. What a way to start the new year with a big crowd here. We're thrilled to have you. And give a round of applause to Brielle for surviving all of this. Thank you, Brielle. Now, are there any of you who did not get a blue packet? Okay, Helen needs one. Okay, she'll be bringing them around. Now, we'll use one per couple, so if there's a couple, if you'll just take one. We'll get it all figured out. It's okay. Yes.
I have that.
Jenny, you didn't get one? What? No, okay, and you didn't pick one up on the table. Jenny needs one.
That's what she's passing out.
And is it on in the back? Did I see other hands? Oh, yeah, and Marcy needs one. Okay, so I can mark off one of our housekeeping chores for today. Stella doesn't have one. Brielle's bringing you one.
Sorry.
Okay, now we had that taken care of, and we think the volume's taken care of. Paula, are you hearing me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to tell me your hearing's perfect, so you weren't a good person to call on, but anyway. Okay. So, again, welcome to all of you. If I've not had a chance to meet you, I'm Virginia Lazenby. I am a certified senior downsizing coach, certified senior housing professional, and a realtor. So what does all that mean? I love working with seniors. I love working with people who are downsizing. I know people need information. That's what we're going to be providing today, is lots of information. You know, Stacy, did you see someone else with me?
We need 2 spots. Are there 2 spots?
Yeah.
Here and here.
Here's the 2 right down here. Are those 2 empty seats? Would you, okay, she's going to move down one, so we'll keep you together. Okay, so Rybers, you have a place now.
Thank you.
Oh, they found a place. So, while we're on this, finding places and checking materials, Brielle, I'm going to make your plea. She said, please remind people to register ahead. We love you. We know you're going to be coming every month, but we're not mind readers. Something unperceivable might come up. It's hard to believe you would turn down coming to a Seniors Living Smarter seminar to go to a doctor's appointment. But what happened? So I know, of course I'll be there. So Brielle has been monitoring the numbers. And, so it's a matter of seats and space, and then it's a matter of having materials prepared for you. So for some of you that we said, okay, but we don't have you on the list, just stand back shortly. I think we've got everybody in, so that is wonderful. A question that people will say, well, there's lots of space. What do you mean it's limited space? You know those room occupancy things and fire marshal rules and guidelines? And we are, we don't want to offend our host here, First Methodist Church. So we left today. We had 92 registered, and when Brielle came in and counted the chairs, how many chairs were here? 92. And we had not communicated that at all. We had been told the capacity was 80. So but we're glad to have you here, and just wanted to explain that. But please, now when we look at your packets today, there is a feedback form in there. There is a place you can mark on there to register you for the next seminar. And if you mark that and leave that in a little basket that will be up at the table, Brielle will take care of that. But, otherwise we're not mind readers. So we hope you're here. We love to have you here. Okay, so the purpose of the Seniors Living Smarter seminars is information. We are really committed to educating, equipping and inspiring seniors to make informed choices and empowered decisions. You know, as seniors, we're still in these developmental stages, and we're going to talk more about an author who writes about that. But as seniors, we want to stay in control, and it's balancing that. The older we get, more people think they can tell us what to do. And I have a feeling that if you're here to gain information today, you want to be the one making those decisions. And so having information is critical. And so it's maintaining that sense of control. Just like as toddlers, 2-year-olds, they want to be in control. Come through that phase again, adolescents, they want to be in control. And now as seniors, we want to be in control. So stand up for yourself, get information, and you're the one to make the decisions for you. So, overview of that. There's some thanks I want to call attention to this morning. We have educational partners. Some were not able to be here today, and they may be joining us a little bit later. But I want to go ahead and just give a brief shout out because you're going to be hearing from the educational partners as part of our program today. We do have Visiting Angels, and Stacy Scarborough is here with Visiting Angels. A lot of you have heard Stacy at different times, but partners bring resources and information, and it's a time for you to get more clarification about their services. We also have a new educational partner, Josie Zamora, with, I always have a hard time, I'm going to get it right, Care Partners to Caregivers. If you want to know what that means, visit with Josie. And Josie brings a lot of expertise in caregiving and in the dementia world. As a registered nurse, she's going to be a great resource and a good person. She's also can help us understand a little bit more about care management. So they will be coming up and speaking as we go through the program. I expect to have someone from North Star, the 55 plus community, and an active adult apartment. I think they'll be joining us shortly. And Will Boughton from Vera Bank, who's an asset manager, and they always have a call at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, so it's a tight switch for him to get over here, but hopefully he will be joining us. So that's a little bit about it. Thank you to them and our other partners for being here. And a big thank you to my team, Jeff Cramp, who does our video, audio. His original assignment involvement was marketing for my real estate business, and then he's stayed with us, and it's been a very involving role. We got drafted to help with Zoom during COVID, and now we like that in terms of recording, so he takes care of that for us. And Brielle, who you met at the registration desk, you'll see her coming and going, is an administrative assistant, amazing resource. But don't tell her I told you how amazing she is. No. She deserves every accolade. She's the one who puts these materials together. And we go, how hard can it be just to run these copies? You know, you want a whole punch and you want everything perfect. It's the day before seminar, I think it's blocked out seminar prep day, and she is going to town putting together materials. So, speaking of materials, I want to make sure we're clear. Okay, so if you are new, you received a binder. If you are a returning participant, you should have somewhere, hopefully with you, a binder. So when you are returning, okay, you can check me out, Bria. I just said you were amazing, but I didn't want people to tell you that. So each month you get a packet, very carefully coordinated, color coordinated by Brielle. And so this is what then you add to your notebook, and it becomes an amazing resource for you. Now, before we go to the packet, I do want to highlight, this becomes Vanna White. I do want to highlight the binder. So, oops, I haven't updated. haven't updated mine. I haven't, but you will have a page with the 2023 seminars. You can put that right here in the first page of your seminar if you're a returning person. There are resources that we've always had, we have in all the binders. I think sometimes we forget to really take advantage of them. Our seminar last January was called "My Bringing Peace of Mind to You and Your Family," or something like that. And we had included a My Peace of Mind checklist. It's right here at the front of your binder. And that's going to relate to today's topic too. Being informed, having caregivers informed, having family informed. These are important things that everybody needs to know about. So we encourage you to look at that, pull those materials together, and like where do I, checking account, the password, and all that. So this is to encourage people to be prepared. And my important contacts. This is a form. Now, some of you may have done this, and some of these contacts change. So on here we have a place for, your emergency contacts, medical, so on, end of life, your pet care, household, and so on. So this is a helpful resource. Who is it you call for pet care if you're going to be gone? Or who is it that I want to be, if I should need home health, who could I call on? We have home care, and I always have to be careful here. Stacy will probably touch on this. Home care and home health have a difference between them, but you'll learn more about that. Anyway, so I just wanted to highlight these pages for you that are at the top. Oh, and then on over, we have your local senior resource guide. Now, if you have an old book from last year, we did update this one to include Josie's Award and Care Partners to Caregivers. So you may want to add that in here. So, it should be right at the front. Okay. Oh, I'll talk to you about it. We'll get it figured out. Remind me, Ann. Okay, I bet they're in there. Okay, got that? All right. Now, what's today's pretty, and what color do you call this, Brielle?
Well, yours is a little darker because I ran out of the light blue.
Oh, some variation of blue. Okay. So when you look in your packet that you will receive each month, the colored sheet stays in there to make the neat divider in your packet. But then you come to this sheet. Living to 100, the purpose and the presenter is that we meet with our educational partners, and action steps. Okay? The way web seminars work, for those of you who are new, we have a lot of, at the end, time for questions and answers. If we take questions through the seminar, we can go down lots of tangents and not cover things that we plan to cover. So there's a place you can write down questions or take notes on. And then at the bottom of this page, you'll see your action steps. We really encourage people to use the information you gain. A lot of times we'll go to a seminar or a class, yeah. You get in your car, and sometimes you don't think about it again. We hope that you will do more with this information. So the action steps from to encourage you to take steps. We're going to have Brielle explain SMART goal worksheet in just a minute. I'm looking at those. Oh yeah, and then we say to update your peace of mind checklist. Update your My Important Contacts, those pages I just mentioned. Register for upcoming seminar. Register. Invite your friends who come and have them register ahead. And, announcement. A lot of you brought things last April. Well, we've had 2 training events in the past. How many of you took advantage of one of our shredding events last April or last October? Okay, good, good. We have another one that will be coming up Saturday, April 15th. Designed to coincide with taxes, so that when you've gone through and consolidated and found stuff you don't need, just set it in a box, bring it to us to shred. It's shredded on site, all very secure. Or when now you can get rid of another year of tax information, the shredding event will be helpful for you for that. So you're going, Priya, did you need to go do some? You want to talk about SMART goals?
Oh, sure, we can do that now.
She's the expert on this.
Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So, in your packet, you've got something called SMART goals. And today when Virginia starts talking about these dilemmas of aging, we're going to identify some of those things that might be a dilemma to you. And when we talk about SMART goals, this is a great time of year to discuss this, right? Everybody's got a New Year's resolution. And it might be that I'm going to move this year. Well, that's a really big goal, right? So we need to take these into chunks, little smaller pieces. And that's when it becomes a SMART goal. What is a small step that I can take to achieve my goal? So when we talk about SMART goals, we've got specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So if you set that goal for between our January meeting and our February meeting, that's timely. What's something that I can actually accomplish in the next month? So if your goal is that you want to move this year, and maybe you want to move to a community, well, this month, I'm going to go to Virginia's website and visit all the websites of the communities around me. That's a much more doable goal than I'm going to move this year. We have to start with the steps. So as Virginia starts walking you through these different dilemmas that we're looking at as we age and we become in our 80s, 90, making it to 100, there's these dilemmas along the way. And we get very overwhelmed with those dilemmas. But when we start breaking down how we're going to accomplish and move forward with those challenges, it becomes a lot more doable. We've got some folks here from our downsizing club, and this is something we use every single month, is a SMART goal. And we tell what our goal is going to be for the month, and we report back the following month. So,
But he'd say, we're not, yes, we.
Yeah, it's not hard and fast. If you didn't get your goal done, then
You don't get
you might
kicked
have
out.
to restart. But you might set a goal for a week. This is something I can do this week. If organizing is your goal, instead of saying, I'm going to organize my garage, maybe I'm going to go through this one cabinet this week. Now it's a more achievable, doable goal. We don't get so overwhelmed. And when we start that process and we take it little steps at a time, we're more likely to follow through and continue on with our goals. So we encourage you to look through these, to work through this, use this as a tool, and I think it'll be a really successful, helpful, meaningful thing for you to use, especially as we go through these dilemmas as we age.
Thanks, Bill. So we're going to come back to the sheet about predictable dilemmas, but you have a half sheet in your folder. This is our feedback form. Give feedback about the seminar. Let us know how you learned about it. That's helpful for us to know. Yes, if you're returning, you can put returning. And if you were recruited by somebody, we have some strong recruits in here. And we also thank K-Pop, the Silver Sneakers, letting people know about this. And then if you want to suggest a topic. And on the back, if you feel comfortable, we'd love for you to leave your contact information. For most of you, we have it. We're not going to be bombarding you with sales stuff, The information we share will be relevant to the seminars related to our topics. So that's what we mail postcards, we email reminders, and so on. So we have that information that is helpful. So this one is a check. We said register for the February seminar. getting your affairs in order. If you just check that and have your name on here, Brielle will register you. And we have concrete evidence who registered. If you've not been on our email or postcard list and would like to be, you can mark it there. The Seniors Downsizing Club, we're going to be talking more about that, but it's another way we support people. And if you're interested in that, you can mark here. And then finally, I want to take advantage of a complimentary downsizing consultation. And I've learned that often I don't explain that well enough. But as we talk about a consultation, no, it doesn't mean that we're coming in hardcore, list your house and we want it on the market in 2 weeks. No. The consultation is a time for, I'm the one who comes for the overall picture, to visit with you. What are your goals? You want to, maybe, I don't know what I want to do, but I'm thinking I might need to be thinking about moving to a smaller place or not having all the responsibility of home upkeep. So, the consultations are just, I visit with you, we talk about what your goals are, the resources, and sometimes that conversation can really help you clarify too. So that's what the consultation is all about. So, okay, now we are going to be, talking about these predictable dilemmas. Put this aside. Okay, I have a question for you first today. So when you saw the title of the seminar, whether it was in an ad in the paper, a postcard, email, a friend, whatever, Living to 100, what was your reaction? What did you think the seminar, why are you laughing on that? What came to your mind about Living to 100? What did that trigger that we might be talking about today? Okay, thank you for your honesty, George. Because I've heard a lot of people go, yes, Living to 100, that's my goal, I'm all in. And I've heard others say, I don't want to live to 100. Okay, we're all in between there. And some of you are getting closer than some of the others. But what can we agree on that is important, whether we live to, mid-80s, 90s, 100. Now you keep seeing more people on the news, 105 and 107, and going, oh my goodness. But if that happens, what's something we do all want?
Quality, be healthy.
Health? Okay, yeah.
Money.
We all want money too. I'm agreeing with you on that. And what did you just say? I think that's how I'm kind of approaching this seminar. It's quality of life. If we're active and engaged, and wow, it's great. And if something happens, then that's a whole nother point. Unfortunately, we don't have the magic blue pill to give to you today to take care of all of your issues and guarantee that you're going to be celebrating your 100th birthday in a high quality of life. But what we can do is, how can we best prepare for this quality of life? How do we plan? And what is critical to all that planning is information. We need to be aware of resources and so on and so on. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so on your nifty sheet here about the predictables, and Jeff has them up on the screen, let me give you some background. These come from David Soley, who is a geriatric specialist, intergenerational communication expert. He has a great book, How to Talk with Seniors. If you want to know what people are doing too, you can read the book and reverse it then. But, it comes up with the developmental stages and the importance of choice and decision making. In fact, I like it so much, I just gave a copy to all our educational partners. Our team already has copies, but as we think, how can we most effectively interact with people? Sometimes it's good for us to think, how do I interact with my spouse, my friends, and that just can help us understand. But one chapter he deals with is the predictable dilemmas. More people are living longer, and, it's new territory for many people, So, and I think this is just such a useful format, and you'll see how the seminars relate to that. The first one that he identifies is, where will I live? Okay, and I know a lot of you are wrestling with that. And I think there are 3 sub-questions relevant to that. Probably the broadest one is, where geographically will I live? And I know where I'm going. Well, just think in a few years, is that where you want to be? Is it important for you to be closer to family? Is there not support there, and you would be better off with your established friends and doctors and so on? I've seen a lot of people wrestle with that. That's the important step. Where do I need to live to be able to manage the highest quality of life? What kind of living arrangement do I want? Am I going to continue living in my home, aging in place? That's a topic we'll talk briefly about, and we'll have other seminars related to that. Do I want to get rid of home ownership and move to, usually we consider a house or maybe a cottage, where it's seniors and it's all active adult? North Star, one of our educational partners, represents that part of our senior living options. We also would want to know about independent living, assisted living, memory care, and CCRC's continuing care retirement communities. Now, we can't go into all of that today, but also on our website there is a brief description of each of these and a listing of these communities in our Georgetown area. We won't try to go further away, but we can help you with that if you need to. I do want to highlight, so on our website, on our blog, you will find recordings of our past seminars. And wow, when I look back through all those and thought about these topics, there are great resources there for you. For instance, last October we had the seminar Clear Sailing Ahead, How to Navigate Senior Living Options. And there you hear about senior living options. So that one is on the blog from October 2022, August of 2021. This was an interesting one. We have Secrets of Touring a Community. And I think it's available on that blog, or contact us. We have great questions for you to ask when you visit communities. In fact, this past November and December, we had a group that we were offering community discovery tours. And trying to see, I know some of you who are here today went on some of them. People don't want to hold their hand up. Okay. But the community discovery tours, and hopefully we'll be offering those again later this year, it was a way for you to visit. We focused on independent living communities or 55 plus active adult apartments. And yes, you meet very briefly the salespeople, the marketing people. They're really important. But the focus is on learning about the community through the eyes of residents. And people who were on those sleepers, where'd you go? You all were on the tour because you wrote me an email about how valuable it was to get to talk with residents, not just to hear the facts from the marketing people. So hopefully we'll be offering those again. But anyway, so a question that people are, I can't give up my freedom, I can't give up my independence, I have to stay in my own home. If that's a thought that you're really wrestling with, I invite you to let's see, visit the February 2020 blog post, how much freedom do I give up in independent living? We had a panel of seniors who shared their experiences. And Jeff was there with me, and we said, okay, how much freedom did you give up? What was the universal answer? None. I gained freedom because it was easier for me to do things. So anyway, that's a fun webinar if you want to look at some of those recordings. I mentioned a while ago, aging in place is a topic related to where do I live. We have several. You'll see, is your home ready for aging in place? Are you prepared for aging in place? And aging in place preparation is the key. Those seminars were in that blog over the last 2 or 3 years. And we're going to be having some coming up about technology to support us in that. We're not going to get into all the pros and cons and what's and ifs, but get information, and we can help you with that as well. What I identified as the third sub-question is geographically, where will I live? What kind of living arrangement do I want? And this is not mentioned in Soli's book, but I put it in. Even if you've made that decision, okay, I'm ready to move. So often, in talking with reps from the different communities or hearing people's experiences, you say, okay, I can do this, it's ready, the time is right. You drive back home, you go in your house, and what might happen? Overwhelmed. Change of plans. That's a good idea, but, there's no way, I can't do this. You take me off that. No. The whole issue of downsizing, we don't want that to be a stumbling block. We've had, and of course it's a topic close to me because we do have a downsizing business, and that is the whole point, to support people. We had several seminars on the blog post from March of 22, taking the overwhelm out of downsizing. And most of these would involve some of our downsizing professionals and seniors who had downsized. This is a good topic. This was September 21. Is your stuff holding you back? I have literally seen people, no, I can't move, got too much stuff, I'm not doing that. Maybe that's the best decision, but you know what's working sometimes are those health crises of one kind or another. And back to being prepared. Surviving downsizing, getting through it with the least pain possible. So that there is hope out there. An important part of that is knowing resources. It's not nearly as overwhelming when you have a plan, when you have professionals to help you. And at our table, Seniors Living Smarter Services, we have a puzzle piece out there and a handout. I think it's important to look at those bits and pieces of downsizing. Where am I going? Deciding what kind and which community. Now I've got to sort and organize, and if I'm going from a 1,900 square foot home to a 900 square foot apartment, guess what? Not everything can go. In your previous moves, most of us, even though we intended to call stuff out, many of us, well, let's see how many of you found yourselves in this predicament. Okay, just move it. I'll deal with it when I get there. So everything that was in house A has now been moved to house B. And some of us still had those boxes when we went to house C or D or whatever. Now, that worked when you had plenty of room. But it doesn't work when you were truly downsizing. So we've got to have, having an outside person can help so much. Keeping us on track. Some of us will just go down rabbit trails. We'll pick up something. Oh, I need to go do this and this. And we never get it finished. So there are professionals that can help. Move managers, move coordinators. Getting ready for the move, overseeing the move. And then we often forget about the importance of resettling. The really great move is when you go away for the day, your stuff is ready, the movers move you, and your move manager, move coordinator oversees it, gets to your new place with their team, they unpack everything, and it's all put up into a previously agreed to floor plan. And you walk in, and it's there. And you look down the hall, someone else is moving in today, and their family, and they worked really hard to make this move work, and I admire them for doing that. But I love my front row responses here. It's 5 o'clock, you're settled in your new place and all ready for dinner and to go to breakfast the next morning. Your bed's made, toiletries are out, coffee's pot's ready, you can get to your kitchen. And other people are still just exhausted, tripping over boxes, not knowing where stuff is. I had a woman, an Ann, who moved to Wesleyan back, time runs together, earlier in the summer, and she was so neat when she told me afterwards. She said, you know, I walked into my apartment that afternoon and it was all set up and I felt so good. And then I saw these other people and they were telling me about how hard the move was. Thank you for, and so you want more information about that, we can fill you in on that, or our downsizing club can offer you support for that. Okay, I was going to, but Jessica's not come in, so I'm not going to have the educational partner talk about the different types of communities. But I am going to give a brief little more information about Seniors Living Smarter Services. Our table is over there. Debbie Brockway is here somewhere. I lost. There she is, right back here. She'll be over at that table. She works with me on that. That's what we pull it all together. From the finding a place to live, making the move, the property prep, liquidation. We often oversell. Oh, I'm going to have them come in and do an estate sale. I'm going to make lots of money and get rid of everything. Yes, that is an appropriate response. It could be, and if it is, it's great. But you know what? That's not often what happens. You need to be educated and enter into liquidation realistically. Yes, estate sales may be a viable option for you. You need professionals who can assess, do you have the quality and quantity of stuff that buyers will buy today? I know my china cabinet from 1972 is just beautiful and so dear to me, not to mention my grandmother's rounded front china cabinet from who knows when. I'm sure they'll sell in the estate sale and make lots of money. When you find those buyers, let us know. I mean, I'm not being negative about it, but I am wanting people to be realistic. We don't like what the liquidators tell us sometimes. And I'm here when I go through a house with our liquidation team, and I'm holding my breath. What's the recommendation going to be? Yes, your stuff is in good quality, but that's not what people are buying today. Hopefully you're working with someone who can then offer other strategies, whether it be someone to do a buyout, advertise online, but we still need to get rid of the stuff. But the estate sale is not the only way, and so I just want to call that to people's attention. But as Seniors Living Smarter Services, we have all of that team put together, so it's a one-stop shop. We can come in and get it all done, and it works beautifully. Okay, so we've already mentioned the Downsizing Club. It's a support group for people who are thinking. Some of the people in our club are going to be moving this spring, we think. Some of you will identify with new communities and how dates get pushed later in the year. Some of us are, I'm not downsizing right now, but I want to start being prepared. We're a support group. We meet the first Thursday of each month. If you're interested in that, please let us know. We have people in there who go, no, I'm probably not moving for 3 or 4 years, but I want to start the process now. And if I hear Downsizing Club members, raise your hand, or past Downsizing Club members, graduates. Anyway, so those people can answer questions too. Okay, let's move on to the second dilemma. I promise the others don't take as long, but I think that first one is so critical for us. How can I manage my health? And there are two parts I want you to think about here. Maintaining an active, healthy lifestyle. We've had several seminars on that in the past. You've got a lot of living to do, moving forward gracefully. You'll have to watch the video to see what it was about. But it was staying active, staying engaged, and that's what's so important. But we did Living to 100 2 years ago. That seminar, Living to 100, I had focused on research of when there were large gatherings of people who had lived into the 100s or close to it. What were the commonalities? There's just amazing research about that. We talked about the importance of health, nutrition, exercise, staying engaged, finding purpose in life. So that was the focus of that Living to 100. This Living to 100 is encouraging you to put together a plan, know what resources you need so that you will be prepared. So it's both having that lifestyle, being prepared to deal with medical issues. And I'm going to ask Josie Zamora. She's hiding in the corner. Josie, would you come on up and talk to us briefly? Some of you may, Josie's just an amazing resource in our community, as I mentioned, nursing background, dementia expert, and so on. But if you would share with us, I've asked you to speak generally, kind of very briefly about care management, about, what kind of resources are out there for us for that. And then more specifically, your business, Care Partner to Caregiver. You need to probably move over here closer. Okay. All right, so welcome, Josie.
Well, good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Is that on?
I don't see it flashing. My name is Josie Zamora. I'm a registered nurse. I have 28 years of experience as a registered nurse. I am also a former caregiver to my parents. My mother lived with Alzheimer's for 14 years. My parents aged well. My mother was 88 years old at the time of her passing. My father lived until he was 91 years old. Shortly after I lost my parents, we became caregivers for my husband's parents. 3 of the parents, we have obviously 2 sets, have had memory loss issues. This is not only my passion of what I do, and this is why I started Care Partner to Caregiver. Care Partner means that when you have a chronic condition, you are a partner with someone, your spouse or your partner or maybe a friend or someone that is on the journey with you. When you have memory loss, the disease progresses. Then you become the full caregiver. And the journey with memory loss is different than the journey of having a chronic condition, but your memory is still intact. So care management, what used to be called geriatric care management. I belong to a group of professionals called Aging Life Care Association, and we work as a group, even though I have my own practice. We work as a group addressing issues that seniors have as they're aging. Usually they have a lot of challenges. So I work with families who are dealing with a loved one living with memory loss, and as I said before, that journey is quite different. One of the best things all of us can do is that we need to create a support care team. Who are the people you are going to turn to in a crisis? And planning ahead will help hopefully minimize that crisis. That's when I usually get the phone call. When people are in crisis, I have some people that call and then say, my wife has memory loss. I don't know what to do. Our kids live far away. Can you help us? And I usually want to just kind of reassure them that they're not alone on this journey. And so, again, the best thing that all of us can do, surround yourself with people that are going to be there for you in a crisis situation. Your faith-based community resources, your healthcare providers, other agencies that you've already built a relationship with so that you can remain stable in your home. Care Partner to Caregiver is an LLC. It's right here in Georgetown. I want to serve my community, but I also will serve other communities. I also have a group of people that I work with. I have a care manager consultant and an elder law attorney. So my work is serious, and I want to make sure that I'm here for my community. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to visit with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Josie. So, I appreciate Josie giving us a kind of broad overview and background as well as about her own business. And that's what our educational partners are. Yes, we have our own businesses. But we can also help you understand that part of the industry. So she's a great resource, and she'll be on our panel in September, I believe it is. So but she'll be here every month in between. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about managing your health, staying active. Have your support team ready. Who are they? And if you wait until the crisis occurs, that's a little bit late. We need to be prepared. Our third predictable dilemma. How will I cope all by myself? Now, that can mean different things. It may be I've lost my spouse and I am by myself. Some of you are in relationships or situations where perhaps your spouse has become incapacitated, so really you are the decision maker. And that's a different role. For some of us who are used to doing things together, if we find out we are the decision maker, we need to find support for that. We had a great topic in June of 2020, when you find yourself making all the decisions. We had a great panel of people, in this case, if they were all with us, but talking about from one who never made the decisions to the other one who did make the decisions. And she says, good thing my husband went first, because I was the one who had all the information. But whatever, we need to be prepared. And there was a book that we based that seminar included, and I just saw it this morning. On Your Own, A Widow's Passage to Emotional and Financial Well-Being. I just found it to be a really assuring resource, helping what would I need to do. So anyway, and there are plenty of resources on all these topics, but I think that's a topic we often overlook. And let's see, I think it was, Virginia from First Presbyterian. What was her? Who moved to Michigan? Somebody from First Presbyterian. Yeah, I know. No, that's Carol. That's another one. Okay. Anyway, Virginia Reed. Okay.
Sing your moment there.
There, I know. They creep up on it. But Virginia Reed and I think Kathy Rice were two of the people who had really introduced me to this book. I found it very worthwhile, and if some of you find yourselves in that situation of seeing things changing, you might want to check into that. How will I cope by myself? One of the concerns here is care. Who's going to take care of me? What resources are there? And so I have invited Stacy Scarborough with Visiting Angels to share. We mentioned briefly she represents home care. We also have home health, which is related but different. But I've asked her to share in general what kind of resources can be provided. And then Visiting Angels in particular, resources, services. So, okay.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I have been in the home care industry for the last 10 years. I'm sure you've heard it called many different things. Home care, home health, personal care services, an aid. What is the difference between all of that? So you have home care agencies who are your non-medical caregivers. People who can help you with activities of daily living, transportation, and homemaker services, things around your home. Meals, like cleaning, laundry. They're like a really good friend, a neighbor, a daughter that can help you so you can stay at home and fill those gaps when certain tasks just become difficult. Whether it's temporary, because you've had a surgery or procedure and you just need help for a little bit, or is it just the natural aging process and you want help long-term for someone to come in for 1 hour a day up to 24-hour care. And that is typically an out-of-pocket expense. You pay by the hour for a caregiver to come in your home. Long-term care insurance can cover home care. There are VA benefits for veterans that can cover home care as well. Otherwise, it is out of pocket, but you pay as you go. There's typically no contracts, or you can sometimes find a caregiver not within an agency, just kind of word of mouth. Of course, there's pros and cons to both, right? If they're not through an agency, they're not going to be bonded and insured, and you have no backup plan. But that is an option to think about. Or do you have a family member that might take on that role? Then you have a home health agency that is paid for by Medicare or insurance that will have the skilled help come to your home when there's a specific need. So your doctor has to write the order for that, for the skilled physical therapist, occupational therapist, speech therapist, is to come in and to provide a specific purpose. So that home health therapist or nurse cannot come in every day, multiple hours a day, right? Insurance dictates how often they can come. So many people need both. You need home health and home care together. And then of course there's hospice agencies too that can help with the end of life nursing care in your home. So you can really build a really wonderful caregiving team at your home, or if your home is in an assisted living or independent living, all of these agencies go to, wherever you're located.
Great. So to emphasize that point about they're here to serve, please get accurate information. The rumor mill can just be, you have to sign a contract of 4 hours a day, every day of the week, blah, blah, blah. You have to do this. How about going to someone who knows, because it is their business, and ask those questions and get those answers? So, thinking again about having a team in place and planning for the future, knowing about home care and home health. Overlap but distinct. And I've just seen such beautiful relationships of someone and in this case, the visiting angels came in and they were just best companions. They'd make sure the person's up and dressed, and then they'd go run errands. And it's a nice luxury, and your kids might really appreciate it too if they know you're being taken care of. So just one of those things about how will I cope by myself? What kinds of support are out there? That was an example. The fourth predictable dilemma. What should I do about money? Yes, we want more of it. I agree with whoever said that a while ago. But, we did a seminar in July 2020, flipping that money switch. And it was interesting. Jeff was one that was really supporting that topic, and I was having a hard time wrapping my head around it. But I think for some of us, we have been in the mode, save my money, I'm going to need it someday. Well, maybe now could be the beginning of the someday, and just like our minimum required distribution stuff, but we think, I have money, I can spend it. It is worth investing in myself. And I'm thinking specifically about some downsizing things, and people say, that's just too expensive, I can't have somebody do it, my family's going to do it for me. I like it. The concern is I see it dragged out forever and weeks, and hurt backs and whatever. And people are so about every minute of my life. Well, let's try the flip side. Have professionals to help you and enjoy the experience. And yes, it will cost you a little bit of money, but it saves you back. It saves your relationship with your kids, and you get it done in a timely manner. But anyway, we always have questions about financial planners, financial advisors, asset managers. I'm sorry Will from Vera Bank could not be here today. He'll be with us in the future. A great resource. Even if we're not sure where to turn to, he can help us with that. But asset manager, which is his role, is looking at that long-term picture. How do you best prepare? You know, and I know that's a big issue for some of you as you sell your home. Now what are you going to do with those proceeds? What's the best thing to do with them? Do I have enough money to carry me through whatever my projected life expectancy might be? And so I encourage you to visit with Will from Vera Bank. And if he's not the person, he will certainly make recommendations for you. The fifth predictable dilemma. Our team had a little discussion here. We are calling it, what do we say? What will be my legacy? Okay. In Sully's book, he's really talking about preparing for, the end of my life. They thought I didn't want me to list that on the handout or the marketing. They thought so. He also talks about leaving a legacy. And I think that's so important. We're going to have a seminar coming up about how do we plan for end of life, and that can go on forever and ever, for understanding more about hospice. What about, palliative care? What about funerals, arrangements, being prepared? But in this predictable dilemma, and along with that, I challenge you to think about what is your legacy. It was another one of those dilemmas, one of those drivers that we're going through. And sometimes we stop and think, and our families may not even know that much about us, really. They only have known us for this period of time. But what I think is really cool, I don't know if I brought that, but Peter Walsh's book, Let It Go, I guess the name of it, Downsizing. And what he talks about, part of it is, as you are downsizing, trying to make those decisions about what you will keep and not keep and so on, that's a great time for you to think about those special times in your life. In his book, he actually talks about setting up your dining table and you have a list of things. What was my greatest athletic accomplishment as a child? Or what was the best vacation our family ever went on? What's neat is, do you have something to represent that? Some kind of little artifact or, something that you picked up. Now you may have all kinds of trophies and ribbons from all your athletic accomplishments. It's time to let some of that go. Maybe we could identify one and keep that. So anyway, if people want more information about that, it was not a seminar, but we had a blog back in, I think, anyway, December 2018, it was just one I had written, but it was creating your legacy, and it was related to that book. So I think, to me, that's one of the joyous aspects of downsizing. Use this as a time to reflect on and celebrate your life. Know you are unique, and we want your family to join in that, so we encourage that. So, quick overview of the predictable dilemmas and resources that are available and things to come that will support you. What questions do you have? Come on, you got me some questions? I'll give you a minute to think about it. Oh, did you? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Yes, your question.
Well, you haven't covered what you do with your pet.
Oh, good question. Well, her question was, what do you do with your pet? I need to do research on that area. But no, I mean, are you thinking, some of us, we make moves where we can no longer take the pet with us. But one of the misunderstandings about senior apartments or independent, I think assisted living too, is when people think, oh, you can't take your pet with you. No, that's not right. Check with each community. It may restrict that you maybe have to be on the first floor, or there may be specific things, but in terms of, your pets are part of your family. I love it when I meet with people, I get to meet the pets. When my client, her big cat, Frankie, would always inspect and kind of in the summertime lick your toes to see if it was safe for me to come in. Once you learn Frankie's routine, it worked out very well. But, Frankie rules her apartment now, and, but good question. And did you have something particular in mind about pets, or?
No, I just have one.
Okay, and they are important, absolutely. So we'll see. Mary, do you have a response for that?
Yeah, I do. There are several options. You can, if a family member is not able to take a pet when you have to.
Hang on a minute, Mary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you hold it up.
Pretty loud talker.
Well, you are, but if you'll here, stand up and come up here. You sound like you've got lots of resources for us.
Well, I don't know that I have lots of resources, but.
Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. If for some reason you have to relinquish your pet, you are no longer able to take care of it, the first line, of course, of defense is to ask a family member. Now, it's been my experience, because I have volunteered, I'm no longer a volunteer, I am on the board at the Georgetown Animal Shelter, the city board, or rather the Friends board. But you can't rely on a family member taking the pet. You really should make some kind of advanced directive, if you will, or plan, so that you have one or two people who are younger than you are, who may be able to take care of your animal, and to also potentially supply in your will, or if you are still currently alive, a stipend for animal care. Those of you who have an animal and have walked into a vet's office in the last 6 months, talk about sticker shock. It's very expensive to own an animal now if you want to care for them properly. When you own an animal, you are responsible for caring for them properly. So family doesn't work, friends, designated in that sheet so that you have phone numbers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all of the information about the animal. Keep a folder. I have folders. You keep a folder, it has all of the current information, and yes, it's right down on the bottom there.
Now, we need to add some other categories here, because right now we have veterinarian and pet sitter, but I like some of these others.
Yeah, okay. And also, the emergency vet, which if you want to talk about sticker shock, that's even more so. But the point is don't worry about your animal. You love your animal, and the best way to not worry about your animal, if something happens to you and you're unable to take care of it, or you can't take it with you to wherever you choose to go, is to take that off your mind now. Go ahead and plan now for it.
Plan ahead.
Yeah, because this whole thing is exciting. It's kind of terrifying. It's not easy to say. Believe me, it's not easy to say. But anything you can take off of your mind is one thing taken off of the list that you feel comfortable with. Because it's a very emotional time, no matter who you are. So take it off the checklist. It's one less thing on that yardstick of checklist. Okay?
And Mary Truder is a great resource, obviously, so we appreciate your sharing, Mary. I was thinking about over New Year's weekend, we had friends visiting with us. They were my first neighbors in Minnesota and lived next door to each other for 3 or 4 years, and we've all both moved in different ways, directions. But they were here on their way from now Missouri, where they're living, to Arizona. And they had their 2 dogs. They were going to make it convenient. Their point was about the story of the dogs. When they were in Arizona last winter in a big RV park, and the emergency emergency happens to a neighbor, the emergency responders come in, they're helping the person, and there's the poor dog. Well, who's going to take care of the dog? At least it was neat. And so my friend said, we will, thinking it was a short period of time. Well, things didn't, things changed. The one passed away. They acquired the dog. But the importance of, they were fortunate they had the neighbors. Did you also hear, I heard in the news last night about in Austin the problem with guinea pigs and people just releasing guinea pigs. So, we have all shapes, sizes of pets, but thanks for bringing that to our attention. And thank you, Mary, for emphasizing the different ways that we need to plan ahead and be prepared. Not after the crisis occurs, but before. Any other questions? Yes, Don.
There is talking about what to do with pets. There used to be a place near A&M called Montgomery House. They would take your pet, take care of it for the rest of their life. The fee would be based upon the breed and the age of the animal, and it was not cheap.
So he's fine. So at least it used to be. And Brielle, we might see if we can find some information about that. Montgomery House, you said it was near College, where was it?
Part of A&M.
Oh, it is part of A&M.
Or tied to the vet students.
Okay, and Mary knows something about it.
Yeah.
Montgomery House and part of A&M.
I visited there. I visited the whole, vet school, et cetera. And, yes, it is not inexpensive at all. It's an arm and a leg, but it is a fabulous opportunity for the animal if you can afford it. Because it is, as the gentleman was starting to allude to, the vet students are the ones who do a lot of the care. And the more advanced they are, the vet students, the more they work with the animals in terms of very one-on-one, in terms of their health care and their socialization. It's almost like, it's set up almost like each animal is in a home, so that they're not transitioning to some metal cage and people are trying to take care of it, but it's more like a home.
So Montgomery House, I bet we could find it online or.
I question the name, I'm not sure, but I'm not all that good at names.
Well, we'll check back and add that to our follow-up email for. How many of you have pets? I'm just curious. Okay, Don Harper, raise your hand. We have a cat. When you think about it, yes, it costs an arm and a leg as we're here. Think about all that feeling, safety that animal has provided you. Well, sometimes we get frustrated with them. If it's something that soothes us or makes us feel comfortable, they're an important part of our lives, and we want them to be cared for. We have a lot of information about pets. Any other questions?
Well, we're going to get any information on downsizing club.
Oh, downsizing club. Yes, let me just turn to that, okay? I have a flyer at our table about that. But more information about downsizing club. As I say, it's a support group. And right now we have probably around 7 or 8, it varies, who can attend and be with us. And it starts at any time. It's not like start in January or Easter, but whenever people want to join in, we're a welcoming group. And we share a lot of resources with you. It's also driven by the attendees. What is it you're working on? What's important to you? What is so neat to see each other sharing resources when somebody, or working through their dilemma. I just can't decide, should I move close to family or stay with doctors? And we become a sounding board. We're not counselors or any of that. And sometimes it's good just to have someone to talk to. So we meet the first Thursday of each month. We do have an informational sheet with an application over on our Seniors Living Smarter services. I think it's also on the website. There is a fee, $200. That's forever. For some of you who are on the long-term plan, and we may be seeing you for a very long time. I don't mean to look at any people in particular, but then some of you get going fast and move on very quickly. Graduate. You found your place and you're off and running. And so it's learning more about those services related to downsizing. There is a $200 fee, and because we share lots of materials and resources, that fee is actually rebated to you if I become your realtor. That's help prepare for our work together. It's great. So anyway, but if you want more information, you visit with Downsizing Club members or with me. Did that help you with information? Okay. And now the biggest problem is, we're very ecumenical here. We have the seminars here at McKinney Christian Ministry Center on the First Methodist campus. Downsizing Club meets back at our previous home, First Presbyterian. So at least we're in the same part of town. So for some of you who just start driving over here and then have to think, wait, where am I going today? At least they're close by. But we do meet, and we appreciate Peniel and First Presbyterian, Jenny Carswell on supporting that. And so we'd love to have new members. Like I say, it's not coming at a certain date. So you come in, you may feel, wait a minute, I don't understand all they're talking about. That's okay. As part of the club, we'll fill you in, and you get going pretty quickly. Okay. Other questions? Yes?
What was the, excuse me, sinuses in my throat. What was the title of that book that you held up for helping widows cope? On Your Own. What?
On Your Own.
Who's the author?
Alexander Armstrong and Mary Donahue. And I think, so one is a financial planner, and one was more of a, I think, social work. But anyway, it's a great book. I'll have it out if you want to look at it. Widow's Passage to Emotional and Financial Well-Being. I just went on Amazon and found it a couple years ago. Okay, did that help you?
Yes, it did.
Okay, I love it. We can share resources. And so, speaking of resources, I want to call your attention to some, we've already talked about doing the action steps. That's bringing the reality to all of this. So, don't forget, I'm not going to hold you hostage until you fill out your action step and fill out your SMART goals. Now, Brielle may. She may be standing at the door and say you can't go until you identify the SMART goal. But if you look at her nicely and say, I will, she might let you out of the door. Maybe. Okay, so we remind you about the Downsizing Club. Oh, this is something new. I know we have a lot of people who participate in Senior University. It's kind of interesting. Senior University had approached me about they wanted someone to talk about downsizing, to teach a class on downsizing. And my name was nominated, which I was very flattered by. So I will be doing a class. We start January 23rd. It goes for 6 weeks. We will be out at Worship Place Rocky Hollow campus. You can register online at Senior University. If you have more questions, I do want to emphasize there'll be some mention of decluttering, organizing, but really decluttering, organizing is very different from downsizing. Or maybe I should say downsizing is very different from the other. Everything has a place. Well, we will give some resources and references for that. We really want to focus on the picture of the downsizing, where we're usually talking about a move coming up, and it's not just get the cute containers and get rid of some stuff. It's what am I going to do to get from here to there. So that Senior University, if you'll complete your feedback form, if you're interested in a consultation, just for a visit to sometimes help people clarify or think about what you're all about. You can fill that out and we'll follow up with you. Anything else we need to cut? Yes, Jim.
I've got a brother in Wisconsin who is a little younger than I am, and I'm wondering how we can get that information to him.
About what was just done? I mean, all this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, good point, because that's a reminder that The seminars are recorded. They will be up on our blog next week. And so they're open. We've had people, I know we've had people who were here, they've moved, they go, we still want to come, we want the information. Well, it's available. That was one of the silver linings of COVID, was we started recording seminars. So send the links to them, and they can join. We don't at this time broadcast live, but we do record. And they will also have, I think, links to a lot of the resources in some of that. So share the information. Tell them that, yeah, seniorsliving.smarter.com. It's a great website. Lots of information. Any other questions? Okay, well, we hope to see you in February. We will really be glad to see you if you have pre-registered, so Brielle will be more comfortable the day of the event. We don't have time, I'm sorry we don't have all our educational partners here, but Stacy with Visiting Angels is here, Josie with Care Partners to Caregivers is here. I'll be over at our table about downsizing. If you've got time to do that, visit with friends, and any questions, let us know. So look to see you in February, getting your things in order. I think we'll be talking more about some of the legal aspects and all that kind of stuff. Okay, thanks for coming.